6 people would wind up dead as a result of a wife catfishing her cheating husband. Let's talk about the case of the Romeoville Catfish Murders. Hey, spooky people, it's your best friend Kenny here, and I have another disturbing story for you today. First, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any suggestions for a spooky story or a disturbing story you would like me to research, send me an email. My email address is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. And again, share this video with your friends, share this video with your grandma, share this video with your weird uncle. All right, let's get spooky. Our story today takes place in Romeoville, Illinois. On the evening of September 17th, 2023, police arrived at a residence in Romeoville, Illinois, after a call from Zoraida Bartolome's mother asking to do a wellness check on her daughter and their family. As the police arrived, they immediately could tell something had gone very wrong. The house was dark, silent, and through a window they could see signs of disarray. Furniture and TVs knocked over. They would head around the back and enter the home, and they would find a disturbing, grisly scene. Inside the house, they found a massacre. Alberto Rolone was lifeless in a hallway. They found Zoraida in the bedroom, covering her face, also passed. And their sons, Adriel and Diego, in their beds. Even their dogs were killed. The brutality of this crime made the police believe that this was not a random act of violence. They could tell that this family was targeted. So who would target a family in a quiet suburban neighborhood like this? Turns out, Zoraida was having an affair with a coworker named Nathaniel Huey Jr. Investigators pieced together the events, and quickly, Nathaniel Huey Jr. became a person of interest. But this was not your open and closed lover, scorned lover type case. No, this case gets way weirder. Zoraida and Huey began their affair in May 2023. They were co-workers at a company called Avanti Engineering. And it appears that the affair was quite serious, and Huey kept a heartfelt note that Zoraida had written at his desk. However, in June, Zoraida started receiving threatening messages warning her about Huey's involvement in illegal activities and threatening her and her family. Now, Huey had a day job at Avanti Engineering, but he also owned a security company, and he was described by people as a generally paranoid person. Police would learn that Huey had been influenced by someone he trusted and believed he was entangled in a web of criminal organizations. Police would learn that his fiancée, Emerlinda Paloma, had been catfishing Huey into believing he was involved in this criminal web. Since 2021, Paloma had been manipulating Huey with an elaborate scheme using fake phone numbers and many online fictitious personas to convince Huey that he was part of Mexican and Bulgarian criminal networks. According to the police, She would build up these other characters and their background stories with each fictitious online persona. She would describe relationships among each other and within the fictitious organization. And she established roles for various characters within these organizations, including bosses, hitmen, and hackers. And Huey believed this. Huey believed that he was involved in these criminal organizations. After learning about Huey's affair, Paloma used one of her fake personas to convince Huey that Bartolome was a mole who was targeting him, and that this mole was part of a rival criminal organization, and that criminal organization was looking to take out Huey. Paloma, through one of these fictitious online personas, convinced Huey that Bartolome needed to be taken out before he was. As police investigated Paloma's digital data, they learned that she researched information about the dark web to prove to Huey that she was a hacker, or the online persona was a hacker, translated words so her online personas could speak Bulgarian, logged into an app to secretly track his location, and she would intercept Huey's text messages with other women, which would make her more jealous. Paloma used her fake personas within the fictitious criminal organization to encourage Huey to be faithful in his relationship and stop speaking with other women. These conversations between Paloma's fake personas and Huey took a dark turn, and she convinced him that he was under constant surveillance by the fictitious criminal organization. She worked on convincing him that Bartolome was a mole and that she needed to be taken out. On September 17th, after being influenced by Paloma, Huey entered the Bartolome home and committed an unthinkable quadruple homicide. Having a person of interest in Huey, the police followed leads, and they learned that on September 14th, Huey had left work early and hadn't returned until the day after the shooting. Coworkers told officers that there'd been some tension between Bartolome and Huey before he took off, and that he seemed upset. That day, Huey, along with another one of Paloma's online personas, began plotting to kill Bartolome by researching her neighborhood and planning how to get in and out of the house with Google Maps. There were also Google searches on how to avoid leaving behind DNA that they shared with each other. Huey would tell Paloma's persona that his wife would drive him to the Bartolome house, not realizing that he was actually messaging Paloma. Police said that Paloma's fictitious persona instructed Huey to make the scene appear to be a robbery gone wrong. She reassured him many murders go unsolved. Since he was a person of interest, the police would confront Huey, who would deny involvement, but the police believed he was acting suspicious. They decided to keep a close eye on him and began trailing him. And as part of their surveillance on him, they saw him moving guns into another person's car. They started tailing him at work and putting him under surveillance at work. And they saw him pull into a Walmart parking lot. But apparently, Huey had noticed the police and decided to have a talk with them. The police asked him about the threatening messages Zareta had been getting, and he played dumb and asked what messages. But later, he would tell them that he was getting some random-ass messages himself. He told the police that people were out to get them, and they told him that Bulgarian mafia hackers were messing with his phone. He said that he even told the police that the Bulgarian criminal network had threatened to kill him within a year. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, Huey likely would never find out that Paloma was the one who was sending him these messages. Shortly after the police attempted to confront Paloma, Huey and Paloma attempted to flee. Huey would confess to the murders to his mother prior to leaving, Police were able to track their vehicle to Oklahoma, and the police stop turned fatal. Huey crashed the car as a result of the police stop, and he would take Paloma's life before taking his own. This is the kind of disturbing story that is shocking in its depth and cruelty. 6 people died. 6 people died here as a result of severe emotional manipulation, gaslighting, catfishing, and other just incredibly emotionally abusive behavior by Paloma. And again, Huey obviously was suffering from mental health issues to be able to be influenced like this and to agree to commit and to go ahead and commit such a horrifying crime. 4 of those 6 innocent, and 4 of those 6 people were innocent. They were murdered in their home as they tried to sleep. It's really hard to think about what could stop something like this because there's so many moving parts. You have this affair, Huey apparently was someone who had multiple affairs on Paloma. You have Paloma, who obviously has incredibly manipulative or had incredibly manipulative tendencies herself and had been engaging in this sort of manipulation of Huey for years prior to this. And, we probably won't ever really know the purpose behind all of these stories from Paloma. It seems like it started off as something else and sort of morphed into this plan. Just a absolutely tragic story, and is really a shining beacon on why people need better access to mental health care. Huey was obviously the type of person who was particularly vulnerable to this type of manipulation, considering he was willing to believe he was part of Mexican and Bulgarian criminal organizations, which, tells you enough right there. Despite our fascination and the strangeness and the bizarreness of the story, 4 people lost their lives. Those were all people. They were, obviously they were parents, but they were someone's kids, grandkids, friends, neighbors, schoolmates, coworkers. And just in an instant, they were gone for no reason. So my heart goes out to their family and their friends and their loved ones and the people who cared about them. And, really the people who lived in this area in Romeoville. It had to be incredibly jarring for that community, especially that neighborhood, especially during the time where they didn't know exactly what happened. Since this wasn't, a random act, I'm sure that this is less concerning to them now, but still, that's a crazy act of violence to occur in their home. Go ahead and follow me on Blue Sky and TikTok. My username is AKBrews. If you click the link in my profile, you should be able to find links to those profiles and other socials. Again, if there's a story you would like me to cover, I'm happy to cover it. Send me an email. My email is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. Tell me what you think about this case in the comments. Like this video, share this video, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Thank you for watching my video. We are now over 5,000 subscribers, which is very exciting. And as always, stay spooky.